Hello and welcome to episode 87 of Pentagon for Gold, also known as The End. We've won the Champions League, we've won all the other continental competitions, at least the major ones, and we've done our job, we've done the Pentagon. That means there's nothing more to be done in this save, and therefore we're going to go through and see how the journey went, explore a little bit of what happened and how we went about achieving the Pentagon. We are going to start in the good old days, back when I was managing Cape Town Spurs from 2020 to 2025. It took us 5 years to get our first continental trophy. It's come a lot quicker since then, but that's just the way it is sometimes. It usually takes quite a long time to get started in this. We've actually put in a bid for this guy because I had a look at him and says 3.5 star. He's got some good looking stats there. Don't know all that much about him, but he's 16, so I figure it can't be too bad. And he's only worth around 250,000 to 400,000 if we want to buy him. So I thought might as well. They're currently third in the DStv Premiership, and how is it looking? If we have a look at the league table, they were 4 points off, so they've not slipped too far. Transfers, I guess I probably don't have these leagues loaded anymore. So if we go back, unless this is a new way of showing transfers, I do not know. Transfer window maybe is what I'm looking for. That's the DStv Premiership. What am I doing? Cape Town Spurs. Transfer history. Let's see. It's been quite a long time since we were here, so a lot of these players weren't really mean all that much to us. And then if we go back a few years, I saw Buthelezi, he was with us once. Ngabane was with us once. Those are the incomings. There must be players with the same name, which in truth there are quite a lot of South African players with the same name. So this was our last. Actually, no, this was our last season. So if we have a quick look at some of the players, Sebastian Pereira, he was quite a signing. He's worth 80 million now. Basically, went from Kakuta Deportivo for 325k to us. And then he left for Arsenal. I wanted to get him to Guangzhou Evergrande, but Arsenal came in and he was always going to go there over Guangzhou Evergrande. Very good stats, very fast, and he's a world-class player. So that was a very, very good signing for a South African team. Other players there, Anderson Rodallega has retired. Danilo, who's been world-class for me in another save, clearly never hit those heights. Perhaps Bahia being the best known team he played for, maybe Palmeiras actually. He's not had the greatest career, to be honest. That's a funny one. He was really, really good for me in another save. And what happened to our other signings? Jorge, I think, is also world class. 54 million valued at, playing for Liverpool. Very good player. And has had a good career since he was at Cape Town Spurs. Flemming Iverson, currently joining AEK from Burnley, but he's had a decent Premier League career, or not that amazing actually. It was a good career he had in France. Played a lot of times in Liga, went to Belgium, then went to Burnley, and I'd say that's a pretty good career to make. Oswin Apollis, what happened to him? He bounced around. Obviously, he was at Dortmund, came on loan a couple of times to us, and then had a mixed career, a pretty decent career, I think, to be fair. Is there anyone else that's worth looking at? Probably not all that many. I don't think I've seen any of these guys recently. Oh, yes. Carlos Aquino, currently a world-class goalkeeper at Porto. Was very difficult to beat, and actually has a ridiculous record. 17 goals conceded and 19 goals conceded in 2 seasons of 32 games. He's a good goalkeeper, is this guy. and amazing that we managed to sign him ahead of PSG. Very excited when I got him, and turns out he was a very good signing in the end. Silas Titole left for Militao, went to Celta, and then went to Dinamo for 9 million. So had a good career actually. How did Orlando Vallejo do? He left for Ghent and then went to Basel on a pretty quite expensive actually. So he's went on a release clause to Ghent and then 7.75 million to Basel. It's cool seeing these guys making good careers out of themselves, and I can't imagine that there are many more exciting players in this selection over here. Let's see, anyone in here? Matt Simbi, I remember, was good for us. He's had a very good career. 25 million he's currently worth, only 2-star role suitability, but he went to Toronto, Hanover, Hertha and Bournemouth, and has had a lot of experience in the Premier League from the looks of things. That's really cool. I'm very happy to see that. How developed Haidu since he left. He's now at Lech Poznan. Had a good career in Germany. That's fun. And he was one of the stars early on. Oh, it's so fun seeing these players back again. Samuel Obeng, now valued at 3.6 million. Had a good career. Lazio, Köln, Olympiacos and Başakşehir. Remember, he was the big hope of the team to start with. Can't imagine anyone else here is particularly exciting. Masengi's retired. Liam Byrne, how's he getting on? He's at Supersport United back in South Africa. And yeah, he's had a decent career, particularly in Portugal, from the seams of it. Spent a long time back on loan at Cape Town Spurs until I finally left. Anyway, that's pretty much everything for South Africa. If we now have a look at Guangzhou Evergrande, I think most of the players that we actually signed are still here. So Shane McMahon was our big, most expensive signing, came from Chelsea, and he's still there after 262 games. Never played a game for Chelsea, but he's a good player. Zhao Zhang was the one who had interest from PSG and was upset we didn't let him go, but he's still at Guangzhou Evergrande and comfortably the best Chinese goalkeeper. AL Aziz came from Maccabi Tel Aviv and is still there. It looks like most of these players that we signed are still there. Yanchev doesn't look quite as good. I remember I think he had 17 dribbling before, but he still looks like quite a fun striker, and he was really quite something for us when we had him. How have the other players done? Looks like they're mostly gone. If we look back on the history of Guangzhou Evergrande, that seems to be... Oh, okay, it's already taken us where we were. That's kind of useful. It means I don't have to go all the way back and get to 2025, I think was when we joined. Maybe 2026. I don't remember signing someone called Crimp and someone called Need. I do remember signing Tim Chow, Zhao Zhang, Su Chen, and so on. And yeah, I don't remember signing those other guys. But yeah, AL Aziz we signed, Yanchev we signed, Anasic, yes, this guy, probably the best player we've had in the save. If we look at, just what he brings to the table. He's had quite a career, went from Red Star to Guangzhou Evergrande, left us on a release clause to West Ham, we were very sad about that, and then went to PSG for 114 million. He's been there for ages. He's valued at 65 million, but look at those stats. He's a legendary centre-back, and yeah, he's been quite something in this save. It was very sad when he did leave, but I guess he was always too good to stick around. Ivan Prolic, who we didn't get to play very much with Guangzhou Evergrande, went to Bayer Leverkusen for 23 million, then Frankfurt for 26 million. So he's basically made a career in Germany, having had a little spell with us in China. Zhang Pan was at Real Madrid. How's he doing now? Currently at Huesca, wanted by Reading, so clearly not quite on the level that he was at Real Madrid, but has had a nonetheless pretty good career. And yeah, that's exciting. Very nice to see. Any more of our signings that we made? I don't think there will be, apart from... Oh yeah, Son Heung-min, obviously we signed. He finished with Guangzhou Evergrande, was only there for a season, then went to be assistant manager at Burnley before being caretaker manager. And he's actually got pretty good stats for an assistant manager, so it's odd that he's not employed at the moment. I guess he's recently out of work. And Tang Jize for 10 million, still at Guangzhou Evergrande. So never really worth 10 million, but yeah. I don't know who this Kirk guy is. I think there must be a few players that they've just added to fill out the squad, but I don't remember ever signing them. Jose Javier de la Torre came from Chivas and is now at Fortuna Dusseldorf. Made a good career of it. How much did he leave for? 21 million. So they actually made a profit in the end off him. Then Moti Elbaz was, of course, he's now at Inter Milan. We played him in the Champions League recently. He's had a very, very good career as well. Went to Guangzhou Evergrande on a free, left for 48.5 million, then went to Inter Milan for 27 million, where he's played a lot and has played very well. He is a world-class winger, so that's very cool to see as well. We then also signed Alejandro Fernandez, who I don't think we ever actually played with, but he went to Chelsea for 51 million and then Porto for 31 million. He has had a good career for himself as well. I think that's where we left. So we will now head on. They're still first in the Chinese Super League. We'll now head on to Santos Laguna, whose star player is Sergio Gonzalez. We signed him back in the day. A few familiar names there, but no one outstanding, I don't think. Let's see the transfer history. So we brought in... Yes, I remember making some of these signings. How's Victor Hugo Nunes getting on? He's at Barcelona. £31 million. He left... We signed him for Sao Paulo, of course, and then he left for Barcelona for 15.25 million and has played a few times. Not a crazy amount. How's Marco Medeiros getting on? He was good for us for a bit. Yeah, it's had a pretty low-key career in Mexico, but was a good player for us. If we then have a look at Anderson Lara, he's now at Sociedad. He was actually at Juventus for a while before we went there. Went to Sheffield United for exactly the same amount he went to Juve, and is now on loan at Real Sociedad. So he's had a decent career. He's sort of a mid-level Premier League player, I guess. Juan Calderon, now at Flamengo, had a good career in the Americas, but nothing necessarily all that special. If we then head over to the next season, Daniel Zubiarte, I remember this guy, went to Bournemouth, now worth 36.5 million. Wow, he's had a good career then in the Premier League. I didn't think he was ever going to improve from where he was. He was one of our best players at the time, but I didn't think he had much growth in him. Mercado's now valued at 33.5 million in Beijing Guoan, having gone to Belgium for a bit. Camarane is now at Tianjin, went from Chelsea to Santos Laguna to Tianjin, so he's had one of those careers where they make their way to China and get quite a lot of money. Emiliano Benitez, I remember he was one of our star players, went to Hertha Berlin for 21 million before going to Leicester for 17. So he's made a good career of himself. Sebastian Barbosa, not quite as exciting, went to KV Kortrijk and seemingly done okay there. And then obviously Sakar, brilliant signing for us. Sadly, we tried to play big game plays and let him go to Flamengo on the cheap before failing to get the Flamengo job, so we had to play against him. And then he went to Chelsea, where he's conceded quite a lot of goals for a world-class goalkeeper, but he is world-class, no doubt about it. He is a really, really pretty special player. And then Manuel Mino, of course, an absolute king, now wanted by Real Madrid. He's their big target and valued at 60 million. I kind of would have wanted to get him, but they wanted too much last summer. And what a player he was, getting the most goals in a calendar year for the year that he just went off for us. Marcelo went to Benfica after a spell at Flamengo. These guys aren't particularly exciting. I remember that was an Ecuadorian we signed just because he's Ecuadorian, as well as this guy. Diego Hernandez, he went to America and then to Millwall. So he's had an unusual career. It's crazy to think he's only 23. We just really managed to get through the last bit of the save really quickly. Very impressive. Edson Rosas went to Newcastle. I was tempted to get him at Juventus, but ended up moving to Bayern, and at that point it seemed like he wasn't quite on the level of our other wingers, but he does look very good. He was a great player for us. And then Wanderlei is still, he's actually at Sao Paulo because we signed him for there. Alexis Tangoy was Uruguayan when we signed him. He's now French, 52 million at Lyon. Quite a player, and made a very good career out of himself. Anyone else worth paying attention to? Martin Suarez, 17.25 million. Presume he's had a good career. Went to Everton the season after and played quite a lot in the Premier League. So I guess that's a decent career for him. Horacio Rodriguez, remember he was a good potential player. He's now at Man City, valued at 32.5 million. How much did he go for? 10.75. He played a fair bit for City in the Premier League. Not so much this last season, but I guess he's done well. Sergio Gonzalez still there. Emiliano Mendes is actually in China now, I think. And anyone else worth looking at here? I think this might be where we left. Yeah, we left then. So let's have a look there. They're currently 8th in the Clausura. How did they do in the Apertura? They came 2nd, so they're still doing okay. It's one of those weird leagues where, they always seem to do okay. You'll have an off part of the season and an off part of the season. Sao Paulo. Rogisvaldo João is the star player. 4.5 star. He must be quite something now. He's got interest from Man United, so he's really improved in the last few seasons. How's the squad looking? Thiago Emiliano, Wanderlei still there. Sidney still there. Genovaldo still there. Yeah, a few familiar faces, and that's quite cool. We have a look at the transfer history. The players we signed included... so this was the start of Fernando Belli, who we brought with us to Juve. He's still there. Now wanted by Leicester. So not as good as we thought he'd be, but he was certainly a good signing. And he very much did well. Robert went from Vasco da Gama and then went to West Ham, now valued at 39.5 million. So he clearly has made a good career of things as well. Giancarlo still at Sao Paulo, 3-star, 4-star potential, and seems to be happy in Brazil, I guess. Breitner came on loan from Arsenal. He's still there. Pedro Ayub, I think, is still at Hertha as well. Yes, he is. I remember he was ridiculous for us in one season. That was a good season. And then these guys came in on loan as well. Presumably this was the season that we left, because I don't think we were there for very long. Yeah, Manuel Mino went to Juve for that amount. I remember Jack Timms was our last signing. Anyone worth looking at? Wesley, still at Sao Paulo, 3.5-star raw ability. Jose Tadeu, I don't know how good this guy is now. Oh, he looks pretty good. 3-star, 19 years old. Some good stats, actually. So I guess he was a good signing to make at that stage. And Yago came in from Norwich. I don't remember signing this guy, so I assume that must have been after we left. And they are still first in the Serie A, predicted to finish 5th, but yeah, they've started the season well, so that's where they are sitting. Juve, Alexander Frank is the star player, looks absolutely brilliant, and if I were continuing the series, I'd probably be trying to sign him for Bayern, particularly as he's German. Manuel Mino still there, Alfredo Diaz, Lorenzo Sorrentino. Basically, we know this squad. Mazalake Marole, who came from Cape Town, from Jiangsu after being at Cape Town Spurs, looks frankly ridiculous at the age of 20. So that's another great signing that we made, even if we don't quite get to see him at his very best, or maybe we have, but I don't think he's at his very best at the moment. And then there's this Bayern squad, the Champions League winning team. Lujan was the star player, absolutely ridiculous stats. Daoud was, of course, fantastic, very good stats as well. Initially came in probably as a pressing forward, but he's done very well as an advanced forward, and actually we've had no problems with him. Quaresma, the man of the match, in, I think it was the Champions League semi-final. Been so good for us, and what a player he is. Legendary goalkeeper, and not surprising. Miguel Angel San Martin, very good as well, very fast. Look at those physicals. 20 determination, quite a player. Lundberg, similarly, very good physicals and just a top quality player. And Gentilini, actually, someone we signed for, or no, who was at Juve, but we signed to come with us, and he did very well for us. Omar Oztuk was someone we spotted at Juve ages ago, and very happy to have been able to use him this season. Rodriguez was a star on the way to the Champions League final. 5-star current ability. Wow, that's new, but yeah, he was absolutely brilliant in that Champions League campaign. And then there's the likes of Bart Mays, who didn't get to play as much as we'd have liked because of injuries, but was quite a player. Jaramillo still wants to leave, but I don't know whether he will end up leaving once I've finished. Sao Paulo, very good signing. Alphonso Davies, never really played for us. Only played 6 games all season, but he's retiring, and what a career he's had. He's had a long time at Bayern, 17 years at Bayern, in fact 18 years now, and yeah, he's been quite something for them. Sadly, we didn't get to see him at his best, but very nice that he's in that position. So let's have a look and see. I think it's in the game Hall of Fame. Here we go. We are currently 6th on the Hall of Fame, only behind Zinedine Zidane, Frank de Boer, somehow, Hansi Flick, Pep Guardiola, and Alex Ferguson. And we are about 2,000 points off Fergie. But yeah, we've done some absolutely special stuff. No international wins because I didn't bother with international teams for this save. But we are quite high up on the Hall of Fame. So clearly the game recognises that we've done a good job. And yeah, maybe can we see what I've won? My attributes are pretty strong, apart from some of the other ones over here that we didn't really allocate too much to. My history perhaps will show us. So we had 6 jobs, bought 136 players for less than $1 billion. That's quite surprising, to be honest. We sold 207 players for about 900 million. The highest fee was Daoud, and the highest sale was actually Anisit. That was a long time ago. And what else has happened? 7 million earned. Probably I'd have earned a lot more than that in reality. We had 1,846 days and 357 days and 29 managerial awards. Taking a look at some of the other stats, our overall career stats, we played 590 games, scored 1,530, got 26 cups. That's quite impressive. Games won 434, that's a 73% win percentage, 91 games drawn, 65 lost. 458 goals against, so a goal difference of 1,072. We had 1 promotion, which was in the very first season, and 11 league titles. That's pretty impressive. Very, very happy with that. And yeah, lots of milestones to follow. No good opinions from relationships for some reason, but we're known for leading teams to titles. Our playing style, lots of young players, because that's always how I go for. Don't know why I'm a strict disciplinarian. I think that was accidental. And we played mostly 4-3-3 or 4-2-4 with a tiki-taka style, but actually 4-2-3-1 in the final season. Very high level of reputation. And yeah, we're only on 32,000 a week. I don't think that would be happening at this point. But yeah, what a save it's been. We're somehow on a B for manager performance despite winning the Champions League and the league. Don't know what more I could have done. But yeah, that's that really. I guess that is the time to say goodbye. And to say goodbye to FM 21. We're going to be starting FM 22 pretty soon. Probably I'll do a classic Newcastle save for a season. Want to try our hand at some transfers and really be frugal with that and sign some great players. But yeah, what a privilege it's been to do this save, and So much fun to do. So who knows, it may return next year. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this series, please do leave a big thumbs up on the video and subscribe to channels. It really helps me out. I hope to see you next time for FM22. But in the meantime, have a fantastic day.